Hey, what's up, space pirates, rebel scum, and kids alike, and welcome to a Nerdy Bunch weekly review for Star Wars Skeleton Crew. My name's Dave, and joining me because he can't find his way home is my co-host Andrew. What's up, Andrew?
So David,
We're here to talk episode 3 of Star Wars Skeleton Crew, titled Very Interesting, an Astrogation Problem. It's one of those episodes where the title is a phrase said in the episode. And I was like, ooh, they said it. They said it.
I heard it.
I don't even know if the word astrogation is a word, like a real word or made up for the show. Maybe it's a real word. It sounds like a real word, and in the context of the show, it sounds like a real word.
It is a real word apparently, according to the Oxford Dictionary. In science fiction, it means navigation in outer space. Well,
look at that.
But
Very interesting.
I don't trust Google. That's a Google search. I don't know, like, because I also see it on Wikipedia, so I'm like, okay, no, it's in Merriam-Webster. All right, yeah, there you go.
Okay, yeah, there you go. Any English literature students or professors out there listening to this, you can come to us if that's a.
They're like, look at these noobs.
Now they're cursing us in like old English,
In some deeper language. Yeah, right. Oh yeah.
This episode is our second sitting of the show, even though it's episode 3, because episode 1 and 2 aired at the same time. And this episode, without spoiling, we finally get to see, Jude Law's character with the kids, fully interacting with them.
Yes. More full gear now.
Yeah. And no spoilers. I thought, last week I said I thought these kids were great actors. But one of the problems that you have with kid actors, even if they're good, is that once you put them with the grown-up adult actor, who's also a good actor, sometimes you can start seeing the disparity. But I think they did a good job of working together. Yeah, I think that, they worked. He didn't stand out above them. Like, oh my god, there's this big actor with these kids.
He actually did it. I'm like, that's that, and I'm reminding myself that's Jude Law. Almost like that's a big actor. By the way.
Yeah, I think that was a good balance, especially because these are kids that, as far as you and I know, we've never really seen them in anything before. So like they're pretty much new actors. And again, with this seasoned actor, I think there was a good job of them working together. And again, it didn't do that typical thing of having the adult actors talk down to the kids and treat them in a certain,
almost
way.
opposite.
Exactly. And there's only really one moment. There's 2 moments where he treats them as kids. There's a spoiler. One's a funny moment. I won't go into it. And then the one's just, it's almost a semi-funny moment, but I'll go into it later. What did you think of this episode?
I enjoyed it. I think I liked the synergy between Jude and the kids. We get to see, I think, more of what the show direction will be, right? I think we said episode 1 and 2 were setting the tone for it. I remember watching this episode, and the first thing I thought was, David called it, which I'll get to in terms of why he was waiting in the prison, essentially, or why he hadn't escaped. So that was good. Got introduced to a random character I really like now, a little creature that we'll get to. It's just so funny.
The visual effects are really good in that creature. Yeah. I think, lately, because I think Star Wars and many of these big franchises had a time where they were leaning so heavily on CGI for visual effects because they were excited by it. But I think, in recent years and recent projects, they've kind of going back to the blend of both, whereas puppetry and CGI mixed together. And I like that we're back there.
That's superior, always.
Yep.
Superior. So yeah, I enjoyed the episode. Just seeing the point of view of, we get a slice of the parents as well. We see a little of the kid. We see Jude. So we get to see a lot of what's going on. It's not like there are too many different spots or venues or locations, whatever.
Or story plot points. It has a focused plot.
No, it's quite focused, quite succinct, almost a little faster than I thought, perhaps. Which I guess intrigues me, right? I think you and I were talking about this right before. Where is the show going so quickly? So yeah, I enjoyed it. I think it built upon and improved upon the first episodes, which set the tone for this, and definitely got me intrigued. Even the ending, if you know. So, I don't know, it threw me off. I was like,
well, because one of those things where, like you said, we're not even halfway through, and it's moving along very briskly. Where it's like, I'm not actually sure what's going to happen next week, in a good way. I don't know what's going to happen next week, right? And I know that there's certain things that might happen eventually, right? But I don't know if that's going to be next week Right, and I
or
couldn't
two
tell you what's going
weeks.
to happen next week without watching any of the, the next week on trailers. I actually don't know what's going on in a
Oh,
good
we
way.
don't do that over here.
Nah. Anyway, let's go into the episode. The episode starts in a place where I think is very interesting. We start with the parents reacting uh,
Mm-hmm.
to to to
The kids being
the
lost.
news that the kids been lost. And you have Fern's mom who's like, "Oh, don't worry, the security droids and stuff will get them back." She's very sure of that.
Droid is like, the kids are gone. Can't help them.
My,
Oh
my
my
kids,
god.
my babies.
Oh, so but as soon as she said that, the droid walked in like, yo, kids are yeah, sorry, can't help you. That's no fly zone. Just yeah.
That's not, yeah.
Don't know what to
Sorry,
tell
not
you. Out of my
the
jurisdiction.
the supervisor says no. Who's the supervisor, Andrew? Who's the supervisor? It's
Yeah.
hinting at a
Ooh,
person.
dum dum
Is it
dum
a
dum.
person? Is it a robot? Is it someone that we know in terms of Star Wars lore, or is it someone that we have no idea about? I'm leaning towards the supervisor being kind of a hint at someone we know, just because
Yeah.
when it's usually ambiguous like that, it's a hint. I don't know.
Yeah.
Uh, but what I
That'll be
find
interesting.
interesting in this scene, again, this is my brain making stuff up. Okay, I fully admit that I could be completely wrong here, but the way the camera lingers on Wim's dad, it just lingers on him. He's thinking. In my mind,
Mm.
I'm like, this
Oh,
guy
in the
used to
beginning,
be.
yeah.
Yeah, it's just every time the parents are talking to each other. In fact, the audio fades out a bit, and he's kind of like thinking. He's just
Yeah.
sitting there thinking. In my brain,
Mm,
this is John Wick. John Wick was this guy he didn't know about so much, and then
mm,
something happens, and then
yeah.
suddenly he has to go back to that life that he tried to go away from.
And he's like,
You
oh,
know?
I wish I did it. Well, what am I gonna
Because
do?
I feel like they portray his dad, at least because you see the dad really from Wim's point of view, right? My dad is boring. All he thinks about is work. He doesn't really care. He's almost so much secluded, right? I'm thinking this is a guy that was like he knows some shit. He's done some shit and he has a past. And this version we see him is this new version of him, right? And when he's
Yeah.
thinking, sitting there, he's thinking, damn, I have to go back to my old ways because they won't help me find my kids. So I'm going to do it myself.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's what I was getting from that. I could be completely wrong.
Is Rick Flag gonna have to slap it? You know he knows. Let's see what he's thinking. I guess
Right.
maybe because I remember last episode I was insulting the dad because I was like, bro, I
Yes.
mean, his kid was fighting me. He was just like, oh, hmm, oh no. And now you're right. He looks so pensive, but you're right. It was more like, gotta go do this myself.
Right.
I was hoping I
It's
wouldn't
because
have to. That would be interesting.
where you have Farah, Fern's mom, feeling that confidence, right? That's going to happen. He doesn't seem to have that confidence. He's already almost
He
like he's
didn't.
kind of resigned to like, no, they're not going to do anything to help us.
Yeah.
We have to do it
I also feel
ourselves.
like because he saw them, maybe he knows the ship, right? Because he saw them
Mhm.
leave, and it's almost like, oh no, not
Yes, 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 yes.
that.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. We also find out through KB's moms. KB has two moms. We get a hint
Kim,
of
that's good.
why she has those implants, right? Because the mom even
Mm-hmm.
says, what did the mom say? They say,
The life monitor.
live monitor, and it's not like
Mhm.
all the kids have live monitors, so
Nope,
it
only
must
she
be.
does, right? If I'm
Yeah, yeah,
correct.
yeah. That's what it sounds like. So we get a hint of,
Mhm.
but we don't know why she has it, but we know that it's some kind of
She does.
medical reasons, right? Medical
Yep.
device. The one the breakout or the brig. The last week's episode ended with the kids in the jail, and they meet this
Yep.
mysterious stranger known as Jod or Silver
Jude
or
Law.
Crimson
Jude
Jack.
Law.
Which is his name? Don't know.
Or
Though,
Dumbledore.
fun fact, this show has a lot of pirate narrative influences, right? One of these stories
Mhm.
is clearly Treasure Island. If you think of their planet
Yes.
as Treasure Island.
Yeah.
Um, but
That's a good
certain
point,
names,
actually.
they call him Crimson Jack. Jack is a well-known pirate name. Famous Captain Jack Sparrow.
Mhm.
In fact, some parts of the prison
Yes.
escape
The best.
scene reminded me of Pirates of the
Pirates of
Caribbean
the
when they're trying to
Caribbean.
get the the dog to give him the keys.
Yeah. That's true. I was just like, I remember that the depths.
They're like, come on. We spoke about the little rat in SM-33's eye, almost like a
Mhm.
parrot. That
Mhm.
the pirates have, and there's also one of the other aliases that John goes by is Silver. Well, in um, Treasure Island, the main captain is Long John Silver.
Silver.
Silver, Silver. Yeah, see, so little.
The
And of course,
Cardinals, so many
we spoke
Cardinals.
we spoke last week of SM-33 being similar to Shmi, which was Captain Hook's
Mhm.
right hand man. And I totally
Yeah.
forgot Jude Law played Captain Hook in a live action film. Look at that.
Oh, he
All
did.
comes back.
Did he really?
Yes. Yes, he did. He played like a younger Captain Hook. I forget the name of the
I
movie.
never saw that
One of the
movie.
kind of prequel type.
Peter
I don't know if it was a Peter Pan movie, but I don't know if it was called Peter Pan, but it was like
Peter
in
Pan
that
and
world.
Wendy.
Yeah, it might have been that name. I never saw the film.
Yeah,
I just
no,
know
I'm
that.
looking at it right now. It's called Peter Pan and Wendy. Interesting. Never saw it.
See,
Never interest, but yeah, it looks
yeah.
interesting.
So it's a nice little things. But yeah, they break out the brig, using, and we find out confirmation that Jod does have force powers. Let's be
Force
specific,
powers.
force powers,
Yes,
because Wim is like
don't call
Jedi.
him a Jedi.
Ah,
And he's like, I'll run with that. I'm not gonna correct
he's like,
you. Whatever you
sure,
want
sure.
me to be.
I like when obviously Fern is like, I don't trust that guy. Hmm.
Mhm.
I like when he's like, do you know how many ways they could fake that? And then Wim's like, how? And she's like, list like 10 different ways.
Just like, yeah.
String,
Again, I
really,
love
really
seeing the
thin
difference of
string.
the characters. Yeah, like really, really like I mean, she has a point, but I mean, I think she's also wrong. Like he does have the powers. The question is why or what is his real origin? Because maybe he's a Jedi. I don't know. Maybe he's a disgraced Jedi, right? Like it might not be a Jedi, but it's just not. It's not all it seems to be.
But he seems to also, even though he's not a Jedi, he seems to kind of know about the Jedi, right? Because when she's
Mm-hmm.
like, I thought the Jedi never left a man behind. And he's like, That's not a Jedi
Like
thing."
what? Yeah. Like you made that up. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So for him to say that means he's aware of Jedi things, right? On some
Yeah.
level. Right. And but one thing that we've learned in the Star Wars universe is that, the force sensitive and Jedi are not the same thing. You can be force sensitive and be neither Jedi
No.
or Sith. It can be something else. We've had characters who are
Yes.
force sensitive and they just kind of had it. They've had no training, no one to teach them. You have like
Correct.
Ezra from Star Wars Rebels. He kind of just had it. It was later on in life he met someone. We've had Force users in this era who were former Jedi, and then when Order 66 happens, they went into hiding. We've had those kind of Jedi, or we've had Jedi who were students when Order 66 happened, and then they went into hiding. They
Yes.
didn't fully finish their training,
Sure.
right? So we're not
Yeah.
quite sure where Jod fits into any of this. Um, yes, it was confirmed why he can go into this. Why Jod chooses now to escape with the kids? Because Fern is like, "Why
Just
didn't
like
you
you
escape
said,
before if you could?"
waiting for a ship. Duh. Like, what do you mean?
you know, it was a scene when they escape, and they're like, "Oh, he doesn't." Fern's like, "Oh, he doesn't want to say how bad our ship is," and he's like, "Oh, it doesn't matter which one." He's like, "Wait, that's your ship? That's your ship?" My question is he saying that's your ship as in he knows that's a terrible ship, or that's your ship as in he knows what ship that is? That makes any
Yeah.
sense. I'm not quite sure which
Let's
it
do some
is.
crazy theories because it would almost connect with let's roll with this theory of Wim's dad. I got his name right. Yeah, I got his name right.
Okay. Yes, Wendell.
Of Wim's dad knowing the ship too. Like maybe it's
Yeah.
maybe this is like the Black Pearl if we're gonna keep the Pirates of the Caribbean
Oh.
themes going, right?
Ah.
And they're all like,
Oh.
I've seen that ship before. um,
Mhm.
but honestly, it could very well just be. Oh, I was expecting like a little, like tiny kid ship,
Mhm.
not that like gigantic thing. Like, how did y'all get that ship? That's so it could definitely be that. But I'm just
Yeah.
gonna let's have the exciting theories for now. I feel like he recognized the ship and is like, oh.
That's your ship? Oh, shit.
But if so, if he recognized the ship, he would know it wasn't theirs, though, right? Like
Yeah,
he
yeah,
would
yeah.
probably be like, "That's not your ship."
Yeah. I think it's probably the case of that he's just like, "That ship looks like garbage." And there's even parts you see like dust, like, surrounding the ship, like particles and
Yeah,
stuff because of the zero gravity. I thought that was nice.
that was a nice touch. Yeah,
Yes, yes. Their escape, when he's, like, trying to escape and he's like, "Oh, we could just cut the cable." Like, "Oh, that's a very strong
yeah.
cable."
That's like no, you can't. It's like almost like talking to all those shows that make things just seem so simple. Like just
Right,
cut the
right.
cable. And it's like no. no, that's
It's
it's not
not.
a
It's
very
not
thin
easy.
string like you just mentioned. No, this is a real proper cable for holding ships.
Well, it was their fuel line, right? One of the things it's reminded
Mhm.
me of one of my favorite scenes in Logan, the movie, where
Mm,
the typical scene you see where the car's driving and there's a fence and they crash through the fence easily. But in
yeah,
Logan, they hit the fence and they bounce right back, and it
and they go
doesn't
back.
work.
It's like not all fences are paper clips.
Right.
Thanks.
So it reminded me of that. But what I liked about this scene as well is when they escape, is when the fuel line smashes down, the destruction. I was like, "Holy
Yeah.
shit. How many people died in just that
Yeah, no,
moment?"
like for
Right?
sure there were some casualties there.
Definitely,
100%.
definitely. But before that, um, they put their foot down, especially Fern and KB. They were like, "Well, if you wanna come with us, you gotta work for us, not working with us.
Mhm,
Oh, also, you gotta help our droid." Bring him
mhm.
back. And this is where I kind of see, obviously, he's a bit of a scoundrel, all that kind of stuff, but he's clearly going to be that scoundrel with a bit of a heart of gold in deep, deep, deep down
Yeah,
inside. Because
yeah,
what's to stop him doing
yeah.
like, shut up, kids, I'm already in the ship. I'll take it and just go,
Be
right?
like,
But he's like,
"Huh?"
oh, fine. And he helps them. He goes back by himself to get SM-33. So what does that tell you about his
Yeah.
personality? Do you think I'm correct that, that's a hint at his niceness, so to speak?
I think so. I think he has an undertone of niceness. I was definitely taken aback when not taken aback, but when you just told me his name. Oh, cute Al. Kim.
Oh, Kim.
When Kim was like, Snitch, Snitch. He was like, kids run, he's back. That's so funny. um, I'm just wondering, I mean, is that just because, he was a pirate and he was known as a pirate? Or is it because Kim actually knows that no, he's being nice so that you lower your guard and then wham. Which I don't think it's that. I mean, just going off the type of show it is and Jude Law and all that, I'm going more for the,
Mm.
probably ex Jedi had to become a pirate for whatever reason. It's not like a real like terrible person, but still has some empathy. Maybe he has kids that are like whimsy. Maybe, probably not. But I feel like there's a silver lining in his personality, and
Mhm.
he's not like what's that? He's not like Brutus. Brutus seemed like a bad guy, right? Like the
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Wolfman.
exactly.
Brutus no nice. But yeah, he definitely felt you're right. Where it's like even I would be like, shut up, kids. Like look at me. I'm the captain now. Okay.
Right. Force power them to sleep. Get away.
Like force choke. I'm kidding. I never did that.
I mean, shit, later on, he even makes extra food for them. I mean, he teases them at first with the
Yeah, yeah. That's
scraping the
which is
plates.
funny. I like that he plays with them almost. Which
Right.
even that shows a certain level of niceness, right? Like
Mm.
people who are nice don't like play with kids, right? Or it
No,
would
no,
just be
especially
like
kids.
very like cut and dry, like because kids quote unquote can be annoying, right? So
Mhm.
it would just very much be like a shut up, don't talk. I have the ship now. If you don't want to get force choked, just put on your seatbelt and stay in the back. But he seems to actually like care at least a little bit. So
Mhm.
yeah, I think they did a good job in just kind of I think you mentioned in the beginning showing just some I say undertones of the acting or like the depth of the characters without it's not like we saw too many different scenes, but like even the little we saw, it's like oh, okay, blink and you miss it type of reactions because
Mhm.
I feel like they're setting us up to just know more. Or let me rephrase, I feel like I know each person's personality almost relatively well already, right? From the
Mhm.
kids to Jude, and it's exemplified in all of their actions for me.
Mhm. Mhm. 'Cause even when he gets frustrated, he's like, "Ah, fine." He'll still do it,
Mhm.
right? And then they're like,
Yeah,
"You work for us." You can see his frustration, or when they ask him
yeah,
to go back to help SM-33, you see his frustration, but he still does it,
yeah. Could
right?
easily be like no.
Yeah, yeah,
Yes, I'm
right?
what? Yes, I'm who?
I like when he's telling them about Kim. He's like, "She's gonna stab us in the back." And William's like, "Wait, she's gonna stab us?" You just see like his
Whoops.
William's
It's
childish.
childish. Like
Or even but
no,
even then,
not Abby.
and that's what I meant in the spoiler free segment when I said, there's two moments where he kind of reminded that they're kids. When he's trying to explain that to him,
Mm,
he's just like, you know what, you understand when you're older. That just
yeah,
that
like
line.
sure. Like
or,
whatever,
or
man.
or when they land on Kim's moon, Wim is kind of riding, I think, one of the machines, the cargo lift, and he's like,
Yeah.
"Ooh," he's making noise, and John's like, "What are you doing?" And Wim's like,
The
"Oh,
thing.
we're playing, we're playing." And there's a little
Yeah.
cool kids moment, right? They're just being
Yeah.
kids. He's just playing on the
And
thing.
maybe his question was so genuine, like, really?
"What are you doing?" I'm like, "Oh,
Really?
uh, let's talk about Kim. Kim is is on this moon that seems to be some kind of what's that? What are they called? Observatory. And she has all
Mhm.
these star maps and things. Obviously, Jod is trying to get information about where they are, and we get a lot of information between these scenes, right? We find out that
Mhm.
the Kim even says when she sees Fern's patch, she says, "I've never seen Palmerish numerals used in Proto-Republic
Mm.
artifacts." That
Mhm.
sentence gives us so much
Is has a lot.
because
Has a lot.
Palmerish is the old language that you see sometimes in text in Star Wars. And but Republic artifacts, that means this is old, old, old. Even later on, the kids are like,
Mhm.
"What war?" So they've
Yeah.
missed so much, like
So much,
all the
yeah.
Palpatine stuff. When everything Darth Vader, Palpatine, the Clone Wars before that, they probably missed because they said
Yeah,
what
man, yeah.
war. They didn't say specific war.
Or they're just so secluded on Tatooine that they
That's
just
what I'm
know
saying.
nothing.
They're so secluded. So it's just interesting to be like, why are they? I mean, that's the larger mystery, right? But it's just like
Mhm.
realizing how long this planet has been closed off completely. I
Mhm.
find that very, very interesting. But I liked how they kind of figured out the way by asking the questions like, oh, this must mean this, this must mean this, and it's slowly do the calculations. But I liked when when um when Kim is kind of stalling. She's like, yeah, yeah, I need more time. This is gonna take forever.
My guy is like, this is
Mm.
fishy. Yeah, I'm out. I'm calling BS. That's basic.
Do you think KB is gonna take up Kim's offer and like, "When you need me, call me"? Or like, what do you think that
Yes.
was all about? I feel like you're setting up something.
Um,
You don't just have that
I,
scene.
I I think so. I mean, I feel like KB and Fern, like you said, are already kind of suspicious of this dude, and it's almost like I could see them almost calling Kim and then feeling bad and then saving him again. Like,
Mm,
one of those where it's like they turn him in and then you find out that like maybe he wasn't that bad type of
mhm,
thing. But I'm not sure. I think it's like you said, I'm actually not sure what to expect next week. And I guess I like that. They could pick either direction, right? Judah could be the bad guy, quote unquote. I don't think he is. Kim could be the bad owl. Or it
I
could be
don't
just
think
more
Kim is
more
bad.
baddies.
I
It's
think
just trying
Kim
to
is
do right.
yeah, I
I'm not
think
say
Kim's
bad, but like
genuinely
just like
yeah, I think that you're right in terms of Kim just sees Jod as generic pirate, so it instantly
yeah,
just
like
throws him in kind of with all pirates.
and
He's
with kids, also
yeah,
with kids, like oh
yeah.
no, this is no,
That's
sir,
the thing. She's
get
genuinely
away from the
concerned for the
kids.
kids.
Yeah, like
And I
get
even
away from
like
the
later on
kids.
when the X-wings come and attack, and the X-wings are like, "Yeah, we're not going to chase and shoot them. There's kids there."
Uh,
Right? So
yeah,
they're not the bad guys, so to speak, in that context. Right?
yeah, yeah, fair enough.
They think Jod is the bad guy. I
Yeah,
really liked the visual silhouette as they walked across the moon. That was so beautiful. I might even use it as a thumbnail for
it was
this week's
dope.
episode. I like
Fair enough. That was pretty
that.
dope, actually.
Right, right. Um, moments that I liked. Oh, we find out that Jod seemingly doesn't. I mean, this could be connected to the past, right? Because we know that droids and humans don't exactly always see eye to eye, especially in the original in the Clone Wars itself.
Oh,
Jod did not like.
Judge's line. Rely on the droid, they'll let you down every time. I was like, damn, bro.
Mhm,
What did,
mhm.
what
Well,
did the AI do to you?
except for cleaning up, because he's like, clean this up.
Yeah.
The
Yeah, like
droid's like looks at him like.
janitor work is always like, no, no, yeah, go ahead. Anyone can do that.
I did like when he steps up
That's actually really good.
to SM-33. He's like, SM-30 is like, never mind who I am. It's like, he stands up over him.
Like, whoa,
Like, oh
whoa,
shit.
whoa. Sorry. Sorry. I thought you were like a Roomba. I didn't know you were like a full on.
Yeah.
My bad, homie. Uh,
Any other
um,
scenes that you like that you haven't spoken
just
about?
still on Kim. I mean, I just like how, I guess I like how the unraveling of this at Aten is coming about. I'm like,
Yes.
And like, oh, whoa,
Like,
okay.
what?
What are
The
they hitting
mystery.
jewels? Oh, oh,
What?
you're from El Dorado? Oh my god.
We we also find out that
Wow.
there were originally multiple planets kept secret, but then they all got
Mm-hmm.
destroyed except for Atatin. It's the last one left,
Yeah.
you know? So the question is, why were they destroyed? How did that one survive? Because it's not like planets
By
can move,
who? And why
right?
was it Anakin?
You're right. And here's where my theory goes into, right? And this again
Mm.
based on absolutely nothing. Yeah, we spoke about
Yes.
last week about how Atin probably not a planet of the good guys, and it's probably a
It's
planet
like a
of the bad
city.
guys. Because there's very
Yeah.
much feels like a surveillance state, right? If like
Yeah.
someone said, or that kind of what's it called, the Stepford Wives type situation where everything seems so perfect
More
and
like a
bliss.
silo almost.
Yeah, like even shit, even the security droids have like cameras for faces, right? So it's that kind of
Yeah.
like camera, Big Brother style,
I'm
watching
like,
you and everything like that.
yeah, that's not a republic type of city. That's
I I think it
pretty
started out as a republic type city. I think that's how it started
mm-hmm.
out, and I think when all the other planets, which all republic held, were destroyed, the bad guys got hold of this planet and like, "Ooh, let's keep
Mm,
this one and, turn into
mm,
our planet for our,
interesting.
nefarious needs and
Various
stuff like that."
reasons.
Right? So
Mhm.
that's what I believe. I think, again, that's the
I feel
mystery of
like
this planet, right?
yeah, I could also see like okay, every other planet got destroyed. All right, turn up security. Just to add some color to the guesses. Maybe it's like whoa, 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 whoa. This is not happening to us. Everybody on lockdown.
Yep, yep.
Not having it. No.
We do get some hints though, because the kids talk about what their parents do, and they realize that they all do some kind of admin work or something. And the kid's like, I don't know, something to do with money. Right? And it shows you
The
the
kids.
kid's perspective, right? They're like, "Oh, our
Yeah.
planet has nothing." But on the second same sentence, they're like, "Oh, all our parents do is jobs that have something to do with money."
And
But to them,
money.
money is
Like
nothing.
mm,
What is money?
yeah. Kids just like paper. It's like, oh, they're so boring. They just do boring things. Whereas everybody else is like, "Hmm, okay. I mean, maybe this is the collection point for the Sith to count their earnings,
That's what I'm saying. It's like maybe there's
gather
something
all their
to
money.
this is where all the accounting is done, right? For
Mm-hmm.
the empire and or
So
the
the Empire,
future
which would be funny. That'd be
First
cute.
Order, right?
Yeah.
Again, we've always talked about how, something like Star Wars, when the bad guys, you have so many people that help run this thing. Can they all
Yeah.
be evil? No, I don't think they're all evil per se. They're just
Mm-mm.
all misguided and misled, or they're given a perception of what the truth is. And I think what's the best way to create a perception of truth is to keep people secluded,
Yeah.
right? And you control what they see as truths. Um, God else. Da, 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 da.
Escape from the X-wing. So they're
Oh, I really
the
like that
escape.
scene. That was a
Yes.
great
Yeah.
sequence, in terms of just,
It's everything.
um, when both Fern and KB, I mean, Fern and Wim are competing to be the gunners. I like at first, Wim is just
Wim's
like,
face. Like he looks so
he
sad,
was like,
just like ah, and then
how
he
come
got
she
so
gets?
excited.
He was so jealous.
And then he got so happy at the end, and I feel like I guess the part I enjoyed about that is it's almost as somebody who watched original Star Wars as a young boy, it's almost like that
Yeah.
was all of us the first time. Like whoa, he's like oh my god, it's like this is so exciting, and then when he's like I got one, I'm probably like or Katie's like no I did. Like he thought he shot one, but he totally didn't.
Yeah,
And
no.
it's just it's so like authentic, but like real. Like I just like that. Again, I actually really like the synergy between them, right? And even when Jod was divvying up the task, right? I like that it wasn't like there was a moment where he's like, "Oh, you guys are kids. I don't know what to do." He's like, "All right,
Yes.
you. All right, let's go. Let's get it. Let's get it."
And I think this is the first time really we're getting the sense of the title, the skeleton crew, right? They
Mm.
feel like a crew
Mm-hmm.
in this moment, right?
Mm-hmm.
I
Yeah.
well, we're disputing who the captain is, clearly, but
Yeah.
we feel like a crew. Everyone, this felt like
Yeah.
they were manning the ship. And you got the
Something.
gunners. You do
Yeah.
this. You do this. It
Mm,
felt like they were a crew finally
yeah.
doing something to escape. And I thought I'm curious to see if we're going to see more of that, where characters now get their own defined roles in terms of a
Mhm.
crew. Right, you're in charge
Yeah.
of this. Even Neil. Why does Neil get to drive?
Yes.
I, think I, I love how Neil's flying. It's just like evasive maneuvers. Just like, it doesn't know what it's doing.
Like, but like, I mean, like, fair enough for a kid, right? If like fly, like, I mean, okay.
Hey, if it
Exactly.
works, it
Like,
works, all right.
what else am I supposed to do? Honestly, a random flight path would be as good as probably most evasive maneuvers, anyways, right? Like, what is the point to not get hit, right? All right,
Right.
here we go.
Other little things, and I don't know if it's setting up for anything interesting, but one of the moments that happens when they escape, he bumps into a friend of his, Banja Pranik. And at
Uh-huh.
first, it seems like a nice conversation. Banja's like, "Hey, I haven't seen you in a while. Oh my goodness!" And he's like, "Yeah, I
Mhm.
gotta go, blah blah." And Banja's like, "Well, I had to call security on you." I'm like, "Damn, Banja, you threw
Snitch,
him snitched on him?
snitch.
What?"
Like
And
that
this
quick.
so quickly, and that character is played by Alfred Molina. So there's two things I'm thinking. One, that character is going to become more major than we realize. Sometimes you
I
have that kind
think
of
so.
character in the
Yeah,
background that's subtle, but it's actually a boss, type
yeah,
thing.
yeah. Right.
Or, and this is based on the fact that Banjo's like, "Sorry, you can't go anywhere. I'm going to call the security on you." And then the scene cuts, and then we see Jod back on the ship. So
Mm-hmm.
did Jod kill him or incapacitate him?
Uh,
We get an interesting, almost jarring cut. And I don't know
yeah.
if I was too happy with that cut because it's like, why was that ambiguous? All right.
So
It just,
fair,
it's just,
fair, interesting.
it just jumps. It's like, you almost think, oh, John is like, I got caught. And then cut, John is free. So it's like, what?
Uh,
I feel like it's important to know what happened in between.
yeah,
Yeah.
unless it's
Which,
for a
but
specific reason in the future that they make clear to us. But yeah, it's
yes,
Alfred Molina. I don't think he came in here for a
2 minutes.
5-second cameo.
Right, right, right.
I'd be surprised. I mean, I don't know. Maybe he has bills to pay.
I
But
mean,
I,
it's not
I
like
would
it
be
doesn't happen.
expecting to see a little bit more. Yeah, it has happened, and
Yes.
they could even do that to throw us off. But I mean, I'm just gonna reckon that we'll see him again, even if for a short period.
In the movies you had, amongst many famous cameos, you had Daniel Craig. He played a stormtrooper in one of the movies. Didn't see his face. I think he had one line, but he was a stormtrooper. You had Simon
So
Pegg
fun.
as an alien creature at some place on Jakku. So you've
Yeah,
had famous actors have small roles. And one thing I was
yeah.
going to say about this show, what I like, it, in terms of emotionally, it makes me feel like I'm watching a Saturday morning show. It
Mm,
it gives me that
yeah.
vibe of, like,
Yeah.
something I'd watch eating my cereal, and my Frosties, and
Mhm.
and 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 just watching it. And it's very rare for a live action show to give me that feeling again. Because usually I'll watch
Yeah.
animated shows, and obviously animated because you watch Saturday morning cartoons, but this is that rare show that gives me that feeling. It's something that I
Yeah.
just became very aware of. Oh, one thing I noticed,
Learn, right? Yeah.
from previous episode I didn't mention is that one thing with Star Wars you always see is, alien creatures tend to speak with an accent or some kind of accent
Yeah.
that's different. However, the aliens that we see on at Aten speak with the same accent as the humans. And I think that's a
Mm.
nice touch to kind of show you that how some of these aliens, like Neil, probably have lost some of their original identity.
Origins. Yeah.
Right? Because we don't have many alien species on that island. It's like we probably see like 3 or
Mm.
4. Because even to the point where when Neil they go to the spaceport, Neil's like, "Oh my god, so many aliens." And I found it
Yeah.
hilarious because he had a lot of people on the internet complaining, "Why would Neil say that he's an alien?" I'm like, can you look at the definition of alien again, please?"
Yeah. Alien is it's foreign. It's not a
Yeah.
creature that's not human.
Yeah, exactly. So it's actually smart and actually narratively smart that he's the one to say that. All right, because it
Yeah.
shows you how separated they are from everyone else. Yeah.
Or,
Uh,
I mean, yeah, I just like I always love a good hyperspace scene, so it's just nice to see that
Yes.
while they were still tethered. It's just like it's always
What I
always
like
a
when they
treat.
do it, when they do the jumps, I like to see the dust trail behind.
Mm-hmm.
You see
Mm-hmm.
like little particles. I like when they
Yeah.
add little touches as technology for filmmaking gets better and better and better. They start
Yeah.
adding little things. I thought that's cool. Uh, anything else? I'm looking at my notes.
So that's actually all I wrote. Yeah, I'm liking the dynamics between them. It's it's I still I wouldn't say it's a show for everybody, but I think it's your description is almost perfect. It's like a Saturday morning live
Mhm.
action show, and a show you can really kind of watch with anyone, right? Like, um, it's not as I feel like the first. with the first episode, they were saying the tone was a lot more like playful, like
Mm-mm.
childish-ish. But this was a good balance of like, no, this
Yes.
isn't. These are kids in a serious world. This isn't kid stuff happening,
Well,
and it's very
I read
different.
somewhere that described it in the sense of we're just seeing the grown up story from a kid's perspective. Like even some of the
Perspective,
shots
yeah.
are literally that, like they low angle shots, right? They're jumping and they have
Mhm.
no idea. So the narrative is still going on. They're just uh, um, be witness to it,
Oblivious to
right?
the other
Right?
game. Yeah,
Right?
exactly.
Because even like things like, because the pirates after all this money and treasure, like, well, what money, what treasure? What are you talking about? Like the kids are
Yeah,
just
like,
confused, right? At what's happening. Uh,
like there's no
but
treasure on that island, but
oh
your
my god,
parents are working in money.
because
That
well, yeah, because
sounds
it's what
like
the
treasure
kids.
to me.
Yep.
I'm
Right.
probably thinking
It's
like a box of candy is treasure. It's like, no,
right.
no,
It's like what's treasure to a kid.
the treasure is that money.
It's like, kid, I'll swap those 100 gold bars for this box of chocolates.
Oh yes,
Kid's like, yeah,
please.
ooh,
At the child, piece of candy. Ooh.
yay. Um, I think that's it. Yeah, I think we mentioned earlier as in terms of we're not sure where it's going. I think part of
Mhm.
that is because the episode ends with the machine,
Cool.
the
Cool.
punch hole
Right.
machine,
Yeah.
showcasing the directions to their home, and it seems like that's where they're going.
Nice.
But I think there's going to be some obstacle along the way,
On
obviously,
the way.
because we're not even
Or
halfway
when
through.
they get there, right? You're right. I'd be surprised if they already get home. And I just want to see because eventually there's going to be a clash, not clash. There's going to be a confrontation between Judd and parents, right? I
Yes,
just, I feel like I can almost see. Let me throw out my final wild guesses. One, either like Wim's dad and Judd knew each other. Maybe I don't
they
know.
do.
Why not? Why not? Right? Like
Why not?
maybe he sees it and it's like you, right?
Maybe Wim is
Um,
similar to maybe Wim is more like his dad than he realizes because the dad's just more
mhm.
like I can't be that person I used to be, so that's why it's
Again,
extra
yeah.
boring now.
Which is like a lot of us, right? Like when you grow up
Yeah,
and I'm like, listen, I'm still playful, whimsical, but like I have a wife now. I'm
yeah.
closer to having a child than not.
Uh,
I can't be
responsibilities.
who I used to be, man. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
gotta, I gotta be a serious person now a little bit, right? Even if my nature is this. So I feel like it's definitely it's an intentional juxtaposition. I think the way
yeah.
they're showing us the parents and the kids, and I like that. I like that we're just seeing what where the kids came from and why they I don't say why they are the way they are, but how they've come from their their family tree and kept their
Mm,
personalities and probably are what their parents were like when they were younger, and to some
mhm,
degree at least.
mhm. I agree. Um, yeah, but I think going forward, I'm not sure. We also have, don't forget, you have your Wolfman boy. What's his
Sure.
name?
It's like
Brutus.
Brutus, yes.
He's coming after them too, right? So that's another kind of obstacle that could come in
Hmm.
because obviously that's going to be in the way. You can see a sequence where they arrive in their planet and then Brutus is
Yeah,
there. He'd been following
I,
them or
I
something like that.
I'm just gonna say unlike the pilots, I don't see Brutus be like, oh, I don't want to shoot them, they're kids.
Exactly,
He'll
exactly.
just be like, take them all out. What do you- Kids, like
Like
MJ
Brutus could
said,
have,
some kids.
right? Brutus could have put a tracking device on their ship. Could have followed them through. It could be many multiple ways, but I think that's definitely gonna be an obstacle. And then not to speak of again, we can say, oh, it could take them longer to get home. But they could get home next episode, but getting home doesn't solve the problems.
Not at all.
Almost makes it worse.
It might actually be worse, right? Because the whole point was home is meant to be kept private from people. Now you're about to pull up with Judd, with Brutus, with the X wings or whatever they're called. Like it's about to be a party, and they're gonna be like, Kid, this is why we told you damn kids. Like I told you to stay in your rooms.
You're not
Next
allowed to
thing
bring
you're
friends
coming
home.
back. They're coming back with the most notorious pirates. I just saw. Oh my god.
'Cause especially when, the security droid was like, "Oh, they passed the barrier, and that's it. That's illegal." Right, and they can't
Yeah.
come back. So it's not like so it seems like if they come back, it's not gonna be a case of, "Oh, welcome back. You can come back in again." Like, no, things are not allowed back in. You're gonna probably have some pushback with coming back.
Yeah.
This is
Which
a
would be
secret
interesting, right?
place.
Because the parents will be. I feel like that's when the parents are going to, quote unquote, revolts, right? Because
Mhm.
imagine them be like, "Oh no, your kids are just right out there, outside the barrier."
But
Like,
they can't
sorry,
come in.
what? What do you mean they can't come in? No, I'm getting my kids, and they're like, "No, you're not."
Right, no, you're not. So, yeah. So I think we
I
have
mean,
various
you can go
levels.
out, feel free. I mean,
But
Don't
then,
meet
but
them,
just
but
know that's an illegal maneuver to do that
yes,
because just
and
leaving is
you're
illegal
not
too.
coming back. Yeah, which is interesting, right? Because yeah, again, even if it was a republic city that was sectioned off, why would leaving be illegal, right? It's different to say, oh, if you leave, I'm so sorry, we can't let you back in. You need to apply for a visa. But this is actually like, oh no, leave.
No, that's illegal. The
No,
supervisor has said no. Your kids, they won't even go after kids, children. They're like, oh,
like, can
sorry,
you
you're
imagine?
done. And you're-
Like, not even like, oh, we sent like a scout droid or something to follow them. It's like, oh,
yeah.
no, oh my god,
Uh,
it's
well,
out of my hands. They crossed the when you're a kid and you're like, I dare you to cross this line. And literally like, oh, they crossed the line. So sorry.
there's nothing I can do
Da-
anymore. Oh, no,
Damn it.
damn it. Messages can't go in and out. Sorry, doesn't work.
Yeah, like sorry, man. Go have some new kids.
And that's the other thing, right? We're not sure how the barrier works, right? Is the barrier because we just assume the barrier obviously stops the planet from being detected, but does the barrier
Yeah.
also stop things from coming in?
Mm-hmm.
You
That'd
know,
be interesting to
Yeah.
see. Like a ship just
right?
come and just disintegrate.
Right.
Like, whoa,
Yeah.
whoa.
We're not quite sure. But again, these are good questions to have because it means that we don't know exactly where it's going,
Mhm.
which is always an exciting place to be.
Yeah.
I think
Sure.
that's all I have so far.
Yes, it is for me.
The mystery continues. Here's a fun little thing. I was rewatching some old Star Wars a couple weeks ago. There's a line that Obi-Wan says in the original A New Hope. He says, "For 1,000 generations, the galaxy knew peace. 1,000 generations." So you have to think that's the
Yeah.
context that these people at Aten are living with. It was like everything's
Wait,
perfect. There's
what's
no
a
war.
generation? Like 100 years?
Well,
Wait, no.
that's the
What's a generation? Like
no,
20,
no, no.
20,
I think the
you know, it's like
generation is
20, 30 years. Like 20, 30
ask
years?
ask 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 the Google.
But that's my
How
AI.
long
No,
is a
20 to 30
generation?
years. Okay, yeah, I was pretty accurate because I was like, yeah, generation is like my next generation is like my kids after me, right? So yeah, 20,
Yeah,
30
yeah,
years. So basically,
yeah,
this is at least what? I don't know how to do math. 30,000 years? Is that what you're saying?
yeah, something like that. Yeah. So you had
1,000 generations, like 20, 30,000 years. Okay, Dune.
yeah, but dude didn't have peace for that long either.
Well, also a point.
But that's the thing.
So
So it's
that's
like
interesting, actually.
but I think that's the context of what these kids are living in. It almost shows you this is what I mean, minus the police state. This is almost a hint of what life would have
Mhm.
looked like if the Sith and the Clone Wars didn't happen, all that stuff. But yeah, I
Yeah.
just found that little tidbit interesting context for this planet. Um,
Interesting.
Also, there's a term I didn't realize or I totally forgot about. There's a term for humans with robotic implants. They're known as lobots. So KB and Kim
Robots.
are
Oh,
lobots.
yeah.
Lobots. Yeah, it's a Star
Interesting.
Wars phrase.
I never heard
Mm,
that. Oh, I never
yeah.
noticed it. Lobots. There it
Yes.
is. I see.
There you go.
Interesting. Of course, I opened Lobots and KBs right there. Like, yeah, okay, fine.
Because everyone's been searching for the same thing.
Others like you viewed Fern, KB. Like, yeah, yep, that's fair. Awesome.
I think that's it. That's it. What do you nerdies think of this episode? What do you think of the show so far? What are your expectations where it's going? Do you agree with some of our thoughts? Let us know. Find us on
Mhm.
social media at The Nerdy Bunch. You can also email us, thenerdybunchpodcast@gmail.com. Check out some of our other podcasts. We are currently doing Silo, which we're going to record after this. We're also
Imagine
doing
that.
Creature Commandos, as well as what else are we doing? I think that's it, right? Right now?
Dune.
Right.
Wait,
Oh,
you say
yes.
that? You said
Dune Prophecy.
Dune, Silo, Creature Commandos, and this. Yes.
Yes. And with more to come, Andrew and I are going to sitting here just doing, giving you guys podcasts and our
day.
opinions all day. Thank you, Andrew.
Thank you, David.
My name's English Dave, and this has been a Nerdy Bunch review of Star Wars Skeleton Crew Episode 3. Tune in next week for Episode 4. And as always, Andrew,
Keep it nerdy.
peace.